I just hit a little over
4.
4 months now.
Okay. You already have 25,000 followers already, James?
I don't know. Is that good? I've
Yeah,
been
that's good.
trying.
That's good. I've been streaming for a year and I'm still at like 20. So yes, that's very good. Uh, um, First and foremost, I am with James. Rookie Sports Cards. Am I saying it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna find him on Whatnot. I'm gonna make sure I put his Instagram handle below so you'll be able to follow him. I jumped on. Did you go by James, by the way?
Yeah, James. A lot of people try to call me Jim. I'm like, I'm not that old yet.
James, it is. Okay, so based out of Phoenix, Arizona,
Yeah,
married,
absolutely.
2 daughters, just like me. We have so much in common, and 2 puppies. And one of the things I wanted to start with, which is awesome, you have a very rare collection of one card. Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I do have some of them behind me for the show. So it actually, this is funny actually. It was this is very business-esque, right? But I went into this Jordan 1993 Finest refractor card. It's his first ever refractor, right? I did a
Yep.
lot of research. There's only been about 3,000 of them ever made. So I said, okay, and this was about a year and a half ago, 2 years maybe. I said, I want to try to corner the market on a card. It was just, I was like, let me see what I can do here, right?
Yep.
It got very expensive. I bought 53 of them at that point, cleared all of them off of the marketplaces, and I was paying anywhere between 600 to $800 per graded
Wow.
card, and now they've since almost tripled for in the last year and a half. So I think I got in a little over my head. I guess you could say is trying to corner
Yeah.
the market on such a massive Jordan card. It,
Yeah.
it, it worked for me and it didn't, right? But I did get 53 of them, all sorts of grades. I was never able to get a 10. I did bid on a 10 on Golden. I didn't get it. But yeah, so that was my goal was to just take in all of these Michael Jordan refractors I could get. I think at
Yeah.
one point I had like 3% of them, which is really nothing if you think about it, but it's actually a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I did, and still to this day I have a bunch of them still left. I've sold some off now that I've
Mhm.
made a good profit on them, but I don't want to sell them all at once, right?
Right.
So as long as I still have some, I don't want to move them, you know, just chunks here, chunks there for just a reseller or someone to go sell it and then drop the market price, right? So that was what I did going into that, and I just knew like what player is always going to be wanted, right? I don't know if there's a more wanted player in the league than Michael Jordan or
I don't
any
think
sport,
so.
right? Yeah, he's really the GOAT, and so that's why that was the card I did, and it worked out for me. So it actually funneled a lot of my business, a lot of this business we're doing right now and Whatnot and eBay and all this. So it's been good. It's been good. It was a fun kind of experiment, and I'm
Yeah.
planning on another one.
That's cool. I have actually one of the podcasts I'm doing in the future is unique PCs, and this definitely falls in in that bucket. Oddly enough, James, I bought one for $12 for my friend Cruz Cards because it had a
Okay.
big crease in the back, but the front was beautiful. I ended
Oh,
up selling it on eBay the other day. I would have just saved it for you, dang it. But
oh
uh,
man,
I know it's a beautiful card.
it
It's one of the
really is.
classics. But
It's a
isn't it?
beautiful.
So I read a little on your story. So I know that you started getting back into the hobby about 5 years ago because you kind of started digging through some of the cards that you had. Did you already have some of these cards?
I didn't have any of the Jordan refractors. I had a lot of nice stuff. When I was a kid, I went so in the Phoenix area, there's this hotel, the Ritz-Carlton, and
Hmm.
all the teams that came to play the Phoenix Suns would stay at that hotel. A really
Okay.
nice hotel in Phoenix. And when I was 13, 14 years old, I would go down there with a bunch of cards from a team and try to get autographs, right?
Sure.
When they would come out for their buses or they'd go for dinner or anything like that. And I actually got Kobe Bryant's autograph in his second year in the league. He was crossing the street to go eat at Planet Hollywood.
Yeah.
It was actually a really cool story, and he goes, "No, I'll sign for you guys on my way back." And this is a big card that I love dearly, from 13, and I have it right here. I could show you.
Yeah,
Um,
please do.
but he crossed the street. He goes, "I'll sign for you guys when I get back." and he comes about 45 minutes later. A cab pulls up to us. There's about you know 25 of us sitting there, and
Mhm.
cab goes, "Hey, I'm going to pick up Kobe across the street," and we're like, "Oh, he screwed us. He's not going to sign." So we haul Bud over across the street, and we get there, and he comes out of the Planet Hollywood. His cab is right there, and he goes, "What is this? I told you guys I would sign on the way back." And we're like, "Kobe, come on, don't lie to us. Like, help us out." And he only signed for two people of like there was probably 30 or 40 people at that point, and he
Yeah.
only signed for two people. I was a kid. I was like 13. I was one of them to get the lucky autograph. Let me pull it for you.
Oh, so he does sign, but he kind of caps it at two. Is that kind of was that his
Yeah, he only
protocol?
signed for two people. This is it.
Interesting. Oh my
This is the
gosh,
card.
dude.
So yeah, I really think this is I have a price on it, but I'm never going to sell this card. But let me take that off. But yeah, this is the card.
That is a
Um,
beautiful autograph too.
it is
Man.
like it's one of the cleanest rookie autos I've ever seen in my life. I took so much time in pen preparation of the Sharpie to make sure there was no streaking and none
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that, right? So it's just a very memorable card. And when I got this authenticated, um, I got it authenticated, and that was when I was first getting into understanding grading and right. And I shouldn't have just got it authenticated. I should have graded the card, had the auto grade because I think this auto will grade a 10, which if it does, I don't know if there's any other rookie auto grades that are a 10.
So would you go
So
back and do that?
yeah, I can go back and do it. I just don't want
Yeah.
to send this in the mail. So I'm waiting for the opportunity to
Do
get
it
it
live.
somewhere here. And yeah, so it's probably the love of my life. I'm not going to sell this card. I have had massive offers on it. I'll probably pass it down to the girls,
Yeah.
over time.
Even if the auto comes back a nine, big deal, right? I mean, it's
Yeah, no, I've checked it over. I don't see any streaking really. Um, but yeah, we never know with PSA, right? So
so
that's
the
it,
cool
man.
thing is, well, first of all, thank you for sharing that story. I cannot believe you got an on-card auto from Kobe Bryant on his
Yeah,
second year. That is amazing.
yeah, and
So
it was
that
really
card,
before he was like crazy good, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of hype, of course, going straight from high school. But at that time, there were a lot of players going straight from high school. So it was kind of like, we'll
There
see. But
was, yeah.
obviously, we saw what happened with that. So this card, I think 5 years ago, you said you started digging through some cards and you started pricing them out, and you said, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
so yeah, I was digging through those cards in my closet, and that Kobe was one of them. That Kobe was one of them, and a bunch of other autographed cards that I had. I had Shaquille O'Neal, a bunch of cool players, right? And I had autographs, and I had some other inserts. I had some cool Michael Jordan old school inserts, which that were
Mhm.
valuable. And I started looking. I'm like, let me look at these values. Like, I don't even know. It's been like 20 years, but let me look at these values. And then some of them were like crazy worth money, and I was like, this
Sure.
is this is something. I mean, these could be something, right? So I was like, let me try to sell some of these and make some money. And then everything just blew up from there. And here we are, 4.5 years later. I started a business with it, started an LLC, and now here we are. So
Is this your
we're
full-time job?
it is not my full-time job
Got
yet,
it.
but I'm close to converting.
Wow, that's exciting.
It
I've
is.
had I've done two people that did was their Nick from All Day Collectibles. This is his full-time job, and then Pidge from Pickbin Sports. It's his full-time job as well. Oddly
Yeah.
enough, Pickbin is he's moving over to eBay, which is a great transition to our conversation. When you first started, obviously you started a very kind of a massive eBay shop. And James was telling me before we started recording, when you get to a certain level, you get kind of assigned a counselor, an account manager, if you will.
Yeah, they kind
And
of yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly right. They invite you to their it's invitation only from eBay. Once you get a certain sales market, right, they want to try and work from that, right? They're like, oh, this guy can make us good money. So they look at your posts, they look at everything to see where they can improve your business, right? Which helps you and helps them, right? So
Yep.
I meet with the counselor every month, and I got on this conversation, and I said, look, I want to go eBay Live. I think it's the future. It's where people are going to. And
Hmm.
I go, can I start that? And he said, we learned a lot of things from Whatnot, and they took some notes on, as we are aware, right? Whatnot, when it first started, they had a lot of failures. They kind of had a lot of scammers in the hobby, and I think Whatnot learned from that. But eBay also said, look, we're just not going to let anybody come on here and be a seller
Sure.
on eBay. You have to establish and you have to provide proof that you can be a great live seller on their
Hmm.
platform. So he recommended that I go to Whatnot for a year, build a following, crush it on Whatnot, and then go to him after a year, and he said they'll pull me over to eBay. So I'm 4 months into Whatnot, and I don't know, man. I really love Whatnot. I really do.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me to leave Whatnot for eBay. Honestly, I like a lot of things that Whatnot has that eBay doesn't. I love the people on Whatnot. The whole community is very just completely awesome.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to stay on Whatnot, honestly.
Okay. Awesome. What a cool just journey that you've had. And good Lord, you've only just began. I said at the beginning of the video, he's only been streaming for almost 4 months. He's already at 25,000 followers. Premier shop, less than 1 day shipping, of course, is always very important. So obviously he takes a lot of pride in every aspect of his business. So let's take a step back. 4 months ago, walk me through the first show. How did you prepare for it? Were you nervous? What were the results?
Oh man. I remember that show like yesterday. I was
Mhm.
so nervous, so nervous. I've never done live streaming, in my life, let alone have my face on camera, right?
Sure.
So, um, it was really tough, and I did a lot of homework. I'm one of those guys who likes to do lots and lots of homework before I start
Yeah.
something, and I just said I'm not going to do the phone, right? I want to put my face on camera. So I have to go straight into OBS, right? So I set up OBS, I do all this. It was a complete disaster. My first show was an utter disaster. My bit rate was terrible. It was not right. Um, and I had so many problems. Everyone was just like, dude, you can't see anything. You're lagging like crazy. Just the comments you should have. I was
Oh
like,
man.
oh my gosh, what's happening? This is not for me.
Yeah.
But I got through it. I tried to fix stuff live on the ball. I didn't really get it fixed the first stream. I had
Yeah.
to go back and do a lot more homework, which I did. Finally, on the second and third stream, I got it figured out.
Nice.
I got the bit rate and all that figured out right. Um, you can't do that stuff on kind of Wi-Fi. You got to hard line in. You got to kind of
Interesting.
figure that stuff out, right?
Okay.
So the first stream was really terrible. I think I did like $500 in sales or something, and I just had to cut it short because it was so ugly. It was a really bad show. So
What was your strategy? So if you've ever been on James's show, he's high end for the most part. When did you decide, you know what? Yeah, I know you've done your research. You said, you know what, I'm gonna focus on high end only. What was your thinking there?
yeah, so that I wanted to kind of separate myself, right, a little bit from the competition, um, because a lot of people go on there, and that actually hurt me. I don't know if it helped me or hurt me, and we can kind of talk about that. But initially, when I started, I was doing, 50-cent dollar cards, kind of warming up to it, right? And I would throw in
Yep.
a $5, $10 card occasionally, right? And I did that for about 1 to 2 months. Then I said, look, there's just there's so much work here to make such little profit, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I need to go higher end. So over the last 2 months now, I've just been going higher and higher. But the problem was initially when I went on that first tangent of going to higher end, all of my buyers, all of the people were not there for higher end. There's different levels in this game, right?
You lost them.
There's different levels of collectors.
Yeah.
So I got absolutely murdered. I got absolutely crushed. And it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And when I did a lot of my homework, I knew going into Whatnot, you have to focus on building, you have to build your following, right? Your whole team of people that love your
Mhm.
show. You have to build that, and that takes a lot of time to build. It does. So
Yeah.
uh, when you come in and you start that right away, and you just go from one section of a hobby to the other section, like a lower end to a higher end, it didn't do well. So I was forced to just stay on the higher end from there on that path and just keep going.
It's funny because I've only seen your shows where you do high end, so I didn't realize you actually started with the dollar, $10, $20
Yep.
cards, and then you worked your way up.
Yep.
I'm gonna skip a question because I'm gonna skip to a question because I've always I'm always mesmerized when I jump on people's shows like yourself. The You can tell you put a lot of work into the procurement of the selection of the cards that you present. Not only that, but your givvies, bar none, are some of the best givvies that I mean, these are easily over $50, sometimes three-figure givvies, you guys. So if you're curious to hang out with James, he gives you some great givvies as well. What is your procurement strategy behind finding all these higher end cards?
Yeah, it is not easy, I will tell you that. Once you start getting to the higher and higher end, especially like you said, I don't want to buy a card that I wouldn't love to personally have, you know?
Right.
So I only want to bring cards to the show that I would love to have and others would love to have. So I don't want to get a high-end card that no one takes care of just because it's rare, right? I want to bring in quality names, quality cards, quality rare pieces that for the hobby.
Yep.
And it is very hard to get this inventory. That is the hardest thing in this whatnot industry, right?
Hmm.
Because you can move cards so quickly. It's not like eBay. eBay, you can just post stuff and let it sit. Whatnot, you move things so fast that you have to procure this inventory. So now I've had to go from local card shops now to all over the West Coast
Hmm.
procuring cards because I try to run 2 shows a week, Monday and Thursday, and if I'm not prepared for it, I can't run them, right? So it keeps
Sure.
me on my feet. Um, what I will say is a great thing about Whatnot is it allows me to build relationships with all of these local sports vendors and everything else, these local uh, card
Sure.
businesses that they get tables and stuff, right? I actually have, 5 or 6 people who quit doing card shows now because they have me. So,
Oh wow. So like
yeah,
you're their custom primary
I'm their
customer.
100% buyer. We've agreed on percentages and they're doing very well. I'm doing very well.
How
I
great
get
is that?
inventory quicker. So yeah, it's you Whatnot has allowed me to build a lot of quality relationships and it's helped me get a lot of inventory, but it is not easy whatsoever.
Yeah, so I'd compare you to Pick Ben. If you've been to Pick Ben, he deals with a lot of high end, and I think he was my third podcast, but he said he's built an army around him. So
Yes,
when because he can't do everything himself, so he has
100%.
people out there doing it for him as well, and it's one that
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. So it kind of sounds like you're doing the same thing. That's fantastic.
100%.
If you
Yep.
didn't have them, which you obviously buy yourself, do you typically, what would be your strategy? Do you go to shows, local card shops, eBay? Do you buy on Whatnot? What are some of the ways you procure?
All of the above that you just
Yeah.
mentioned. And I think it's hard to explain from someone um, to explain to someone who doesn't do it, right? But once you get in it and you see how much inventory you need, you have to buy from all angles to get inventory as fast as you can because you don't want to disappoint your fan base or push shows back when they're excited to get in there and get a card from you.
Yep.
So yeah, that is very hard. So yeah, I procure from every angle, every angle.
I tell people if they ever want to start streaming is you got to learn to love every aspect of it. And while it is probably one of our biggest challenges, it's still one of the coolest parts of being a streamer is like procuring that inventory and getting it in, uh, putting it in brand new mags, you know what I mean? Inventorying it. Like I enjoy every aspect of that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
100%. Yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoy
it's
every
fun.
part of it too.
So there's a lot of people who watch this show that are maybe thinking about streaming, James. Maybe they've been streaming already, but maybe they've hit a rut and they're like, I don't know what's going on. What kind of advice would you give people like that?
Yeah, so I actually talked to a lot of Whatnot streamers, and I've had a lot recently hit me up and say, "You only started 4 months ago. How are you doing so well?" And then I'll go into their shows, and I see very quickly why they're not successful, and it's
Mhm.
they're too scared to lose a dollar. When you go into this, you cannot have that mindset. You have to bring quality cards, and you have to. I'm still at the point where I'm okay losing. I really am. Like because I see it as I'm still in my building phase. I'm still building my team. I'm still
Yep.
building a core around me, right? And you said the quality giveaways. The giveaways are very important to bringing more people into the room, keeping them there, and hey, a forward gets sent. Hey, check this guy out. He's got an uptown for free. Get in here,
Yep.
right? So all that kind of stuff matters, and I see all my giveaways as just pure marketing. It's pure marketing. It goes in, and I use it as part of growth.
Yep.
And the where I see these other shows failing when they're starting, they get stuck is they just put a card on and they put a price that they have to have for it instead of starting at a dollar. And you have to understand when we go into this, right? People want to feel like they're getting a great deal. That is what will keep them there long term. So if you are starting, don't go in there and start. Maybe you start with lower end stuff so you don't get creamed, right? Maybe I
Right.
did it right. Maybe I started low, I built up to a couple thousand followers, and then I went to higher end, right? Maybe that's the best route. I don't know. I got hurt on it too. So I think no matter what you do, if you want to build, you're gonna get hurt initially. I think do in my a lot of research from 6 to 12 months, you don't do a lot of profit on Whatnot. I've been
Mhm.
pretty lucky that I'm kind of making a profit now so early, but it didn't come with a lot of work and it came with a lot of risk. I start $1,000 cards at $1, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'll go for 600, sometimes they'll go for 1,200. It just is what it is, right? But you have to have that thought of I want to grow. I'm okay losing in the interim.
hmm I love that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot of people who have actually profited their very first year. You're not really supposed to, right? That's
No,
your learning.
absolutely, yeah.
That's your
I went
learning
into this and I
phase.
said, yeah, no, go ahead.
No, you made a couple observations I want to talk about. And so yeah, I see the same thing. You go to a show and someone's asking for a fixed price. That's not the point of Whatnot. You're gonna lose people. Nobody likes that. You have to start at a dollar, $2, three, even if you want to push it, but $1 to $2, and you're gonna keep people in there. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's incredibly important. So, what would you say would be your number one favorite thing you love about streaming, James?
Man.
There's a
Pro
lot.
Yeah, there is a lot of pros and cons, right? I mean, we kind of talked about some of them already. I love meeting new people. Honestly,
Mhm.
since I've started streaming, I've met so many great people in the hobby. I think the hobby really is great. I think over the past year to 2 years, we've brought in a lot of investors into the hobby, and I don't think that comes lightly, right? I think it's because it's a great community. Um, and I'm proud of it. I've met so many good people since I've started Whatnot. People have come to me at shows, hey, you're rookie sports card, what's
Isn't
up?
that cool?
And then you
Yeah.
just kick off the relationships, right? So I think that is the biggest thing that I love about Whatnot has been the relationships that I've built since streaming.
Yeah. No, it's great. I'm going to the Dallas Card Show in a couple weeks, and I'm so excited. I get to meet dozens of people that I've only known, on Whatnot, but I get to be
Right.
face to face with them, and it's great. I love the hobby, and Whatnot has just been such a helpful just tool to use to meet
Yeah,
even more people out there. That's awesome.
absolutely.
Um, what is next for you? Actually, let's talk about the off season. So you're a collector. You're a seller, you're a streamer. It is March 4th. Football's over.
Yeah.
Combine just happened. That was exciting. Basketball playoffs are coming up. We got the World Cup. This is an interesting time for sports. Do you change your strategy and procurement and what you sell right now?
I do. So uh, being so new though, I'm still learning, right? Um, and I know Whatnot does not do well in football right now. So,
Hmm.
and that kind of translates to eBay as well, right? During off seasons, those type of industries go down, right? So, off season football card markets go down. Off season basketball card markets go down.
Yep.
What card markets are going up right now? Baseball, right? Baseball and basketball playoffs, right? Those two are going. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, and it changes season to season, right? It goes very quickly. Football, I think, has the biggest overall realm of the industry. I think it does. But there is little portions there of baseball and basketball that do very well. So, yeah, and it's funny, we talk about a lot of my vendors who quit their tables, and they ask that too, like what they were bringing me lots of football, and I'm like, okay, let's take a pause. I know let's get through this football, but I need to transition now. I got to transition to what is hot, and that is coming into baseball season and the basketball playoffs. So everyone's like, all right, fair enough. So they've transitioned as well, and it's just is what it is. It's with every season.
Yeah, you're right about that. Who's the Pirates
Connor
shortstop?
Griffin.
Yeah, people are just every show I
He's,
go to now,
he's so
everyone's
hot.
asking for Connor Griffin.
Absolutely.
Um, who else? I'm trying to
Yeah, I
think.
mean, Connor Griffin's hot. A lot of the rookies from last year, Nick Kurtz, he's hot. A lot of the problem with baseball is a lot of it is prospect oriented. So that's
Yeah.
something that football and basketball doesn't have, which forced
Mhm.
me to try and learn that as best I could because you can have it's very weird like basketball and football it's drafted and you're they're in the pros, right? Baseball, you could have a card selling for $10,000 and they've never even swung a bat in the pros yet.
Isn't that crazy?
So so the
Yeah.
MLB prospects is very weird. It's very different, and it takes a lot of homework to figure it out. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani is obviously super hot. I don't know if he ever is going to go cold
I
ever.
don't think so.
But Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr.'s. I think a lot of
Jeez.
people are sleeping on Ronald Acuna right now. I think he's a very big buy right now. Um, so yeah, a lot of those players, right? And on the basketball side, you got Wembanyama, who's kind of the face of the NBA at this point, right?
Pretty much.
Shea Gilgeous, all those guys. So
Cade.
you
Cade.
focus on the hotter people that are moving, and I will say that is a huge benefit to Whatnot. An absolute massive benefit is I have the opportunity to turn and burn within 1 to 2 days if I want. So you
Yep.
can take advantage of the cold and you can take advantage of the hot. Where on eBay you don't have that luxury.
Yeah, you're true. I was joking around like it would have been brilliant for someone to stream during the Super Bowl and have every player that was playing. And the second, who scored the first touchdown?
Yeah.
Seattle. Anyway, you just break out those cards and just because you've got recency and like nothing more recent than a live play and be like, okay, let's bring on his cards. And then people would overspend and blah blah blah. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm a diehard Brewers fan, and I'll give you a tip. You might know this already, but there's a player named Jesus Mate
Yeah.
who Jesus made. What a great name,
Yeah.
right?
He's
It's
hot
actually
too.
Jesus Mate. He's super hot. I think
Yep.
he's going to get called up this year. He's already scorching it in spring training, so I'm super excited about him.
Yeah,
I'm a big
he's
Jackson
a really
Churio
hot
fan. He's my
prospect.
PC. I love Jackson Churio.
Cheerio too. Cheerio's another hot one.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
great. Um, it's 2026, James. What's besides world domination? What's the plan for rookie sports cards?
I don't know, man. I was actually just talking to one of my employees right now about that. It's Whatnot has been such a blessing, in many ways than one that now I need to figure out what to do and how to grow it, right? So I'm actually thinking of getting another couple streamers for the show,
Cool.
um, figuring out how to do that. But I want to keep. It's hard to find, right? Like it's hard to find someone who's okay putting their face on camera, someone who is, loves the game, loves to come in and hype people up. I mean, you've done shows, Joel. Like you have to have your energy has to be high, right?
Sure
Or your
does.
sales are going to suffer. So
Yep.
that is all something that gets put together, and that what I'm looking at right now is how to build off of this Whatnot success. That's what I'm thinking about and doing. So more to come on that.
That's cool. I've heard that sentiment too from individuals in your position. But yeah, you can't clone yourself, unfortunately. So you have to find someone that's like-minded, brings the same kind of passion, positive energy, doing things the right way. And yeah, that's not always easy. So the best of luck to you. That's awesome. I
Absolutely.
can't wait to see where you're at the end of 2026. Um, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else you want to cover while I got you?
Um, no, I know you wanted to discuss, something that I thought I've been doing well in the industry.
Yeah, like a
Um,
tip, if you will. Yeah.
yeah, like a tip. And I think where one thing I'll share that I think what my Whatnot has gained so much success is the transparency for raw cards, which I've bought lots of raw cards from big shows, all sorts of shows, obviously because I want to see what the competition is, right? How do you beat the competition? You got to go to the competition, uh,
Mhm.
work with them, spend money with them, and see what they're putting out, right? So I've done that. I bought like a $800 Jaden Daniels rookie downtown at an optic, and they said it was near mint. I get it, and it had scratches, pits, and yeah, so
The worst.
that happened multiple times on multiple big shows and other shows. So I said, look, this is what I'm going to do. I want everyone who gets my cards in the mail to be happy after they get them, to be ecstatic after they get them. So what
Yep.
I do on my shows is, and you see a lot of these shows, what they'll do is they'll just put the condition as EX, and that's just a cheap way out, right? Like that is,
Yep.
hey, I'm not going to tell you the condition of the card, and you get what you get. You
It's a
know,
CYA. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's kind of a get out of it. What I do is I list it near mint or better. And if there's a pit in the card, if there's a scratch in the card, if there's a print line in the card, if there's any type of soft corner, I let
Yep.
people know. If anything $40 or up that I think someone might potentially grade, or just want for their collection, right? I mean, you don't want to buy a five, $600 card and it's all damaged and let's be honest, some people just love to collect the card, right? So some people are okay with pits, some people are okay with
Sure.
print lines, but I want to be fully transparent when I start that auction at $1, and then people can go and bid and say, I want to pay this for it, I want to pay that for it, right? So that's one thing that I think has really grown on my stream, and I know I had a couple people in the stream the other day. Hey, I got a PSA 10 on that Tyler Shuck downtown. Thanks so much.
Nothing
I
better.
love hearing that. I love hearing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because I don't grade cards. So what I focus on is just bringing those quality raw cards to people that do grade. So I think overall, over time, I think people are going to realize that on my streams, which they already have, and they're going to flock in and see that, I'm going to be fully transparent with them at all times, which I don't think any other show has. So that's kind of my, I guess you
Yeah.
can
You're right.
say, the catch to my show. Yeah,
And we've all been burned where we pay 400 to 600 to $800 on a card only to get it, and it's damaged, and there's nothing more infuriating. And all
yeah,
that seller had to do is just slow down, pop the top, and be like, "Oh, by the way, guys,
absolutely. I
it's
mean,
there's a
we
little
we we
scratch here."
talked about this, right? We talked about how great the hobby is, and on the reverse side, there is a lot of corruption in the hobby as
There
well.
is.
So I think trustworthiness is the number one thing I'm going for.
So let me just end the and so hope for all you guys listening, hope you're still hanging out. This has been a great half an hour. If you needed a reason to go to Rookie Sports Cards and see James in action, you're not going to see someone who executes a stream better than James. I've been on thousands of streams,
Kind
and
man.
I'm not just pandering when I say that. Like the lighting, so I'm big into lighting. Just the overall execution of how he simplifies the view with his face. You have the card right in your face. The Gibby is very easy to see as well. You can tell this is a guy who really takes what he does very seriously, and it shows. And so that's why I love going to your shows, James. It's fun for me to sit back and just awe at the cards that you present, the way you present them, your honesty, your passion. It's very inspirational. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing. You've only been doing this for 4 months. Like I cannot wait how great you're going to be in a year from now.
Hey,
So
Joel, I'm trying, man, but hey, I thank you so much for having me on here. You've been a special, and actually there's been like three or four people that have commented, "Hey, when are you going to be on Joel's stream?" So I think you're touching a lot of people. They're finding your YouTube, and you're doing great things out there. So thank you so much for
love
having me
it.
on. I truly appreciate it.
Well, thank you. That's great to hear, man. Again, I can't thank you enough. Let's do this again. So I do roundtables where I grab like 3 to 4 streamers and sellers together and we just talk shop. So would you be open to
Absolutely,
do one of those?
absolutely, man.
Not to
Love to do
put you
it.
on the spot, but would you be would you be open to do those?
I'm not afraid of the camera, as you could tell. So
Yes.
let's do it. Bring me on anytime. Love to be a part.
Awesome. Well, James, it's been a pleasure. Looking forward to reconnecting in like a year from now, and we'll have new stories and new best practices and all that. Thank you so much.
Hey, love it, Joel. Thanks so much.